to this episode of Living in McKenzie County. I'm Jessie, Veeder, Scofield, and I am here with some of my favorite women of all time. What a fun chat we're going to have about everything arts and culture and community in McKenzie County. Representing the Long X Arts Foundation, I'm the director here, and we are in building where we do the podcast is also where we run the visitor center and the arts center here. And I am here with our board member and kind of founding trailblazer Jan Dodge, and our acting board president Brooke Braunberg, and our new programming director, programming coordinator Oksana Zvyagelskiy. We were practicing Zvyagelskiy. I said it right now. So we are going to talk all things arts and culture here. We're really at a good time to be having this conversation because we're at the beginning of our fundraising kickoff to our concert series, really diving into programming for the winter, kind of where I think a lot of our community really is looking for arts programming, something to do to get in. You have to stay inside, to get creative, to be together. And that's what we're doing here is trying to create opportunities for connection and arts experiences in McKenzie County. And we've been doing that for a long time. I mean, not as long as many communities. We're sort of a new arts organization, but we've been founded here in, I guess, 2016. So we're on the fast track to being pretty impactful in the community. So that's what we're talking about today. And I guess we'll just go around very briefly and maybe introduce yourself better than I introduced you and just give us a little bit about your role and why you think the arts are important in our community. And we can start with you, Brooke, our president.
Yes, hi.
Let's start with you.
So current president of the board, but I got involved with the Long X Art Foundation in 2019. I had come just freshly from Arizona, wanting to get involved with this community. And I've just been loving it. I was a contract employee for just a little bit. Once I got off of that, I really wanted to still be involved. So I got onto the board. So
my favorite memory of you is Brooke did some work for us when we were housed in the Rough Rider Center, which we'll talk a little bit more about. And Brooke, you're the what is your title at the Rough Rider Center?
Right now, I'm Human Resources and Office Coordinator.
Okay, she's got a big job out there. She started at the front desk and kind of just really has a lot of ambition, which we really appreciate. But she also taught an art class dressed as Bob Ross, which, I mean, you got to love someone that will do that. And she just like, no big deal.
Yeah, that was a great time.
Very fun. So we're happy to have you as the president this year. And you do such great work and volunteer for us. So, and Oksana, she's in your first month of work with us.
Yes, officially 1 month.
1 month. And she was on our board briefly. And then we had an opening as a programming coordinator and outreach person for our community. And she and I talked to her in the park and it was like, come on over. Yes. So talk a little bit about your role and a little bit about your history here.
My history is I've lived in Watford City since 2017. We moved here and then soon after had 2 kids. So I was a stay-at-home mom for a long time. So I got connected with a lot of mom groups and there's actually a lot going on here in Watford City for stay-at-home moms. But a year ago, got the itch to go back to work. And so I started working at the daycare. And then, yes, that Art in the Park day, significant for me. Changed everything. And now I'm here at Long X as an education and outreach coordinator. Very, very exciting. It's what I'm meant to do.
I think so too. And you're so humble. So I have to say, you are a beautiful artist, an absolutely gorgeous artist. What are the mediums that you work in typically?
Typically, graphite, charcoal, and I'm getting into more color like watercolor and hopefully soon oil painting. So, just mostly, all that.
All of the mediums, really all the mediums. Yes. And Oksana's role will be to work with area artists in our community, get them in-house to teach and then teach your own classes, and really have been working on getting into the nursing home and the assisted living and work with the students. So we'll talk more about that, but we're happy that you're here.
Thank you.
And then we have Jan, my right-hand man, left-hand man, and all things Arts Foundation. Because of you, we're here, I think. And you have a big history in this community in history and arts and culture. So maybe just give a little brief background on your role here and what you've done.
Well, as Jessie says, left hand, right hand. That's what happens when you are retired or semi-retired. Just call me.
And we do. Whoops. Yeah. Careful what you say.
Right. So, yes, I've been involved since actually before bylaws were formed in somewhat of a dream of mine to get this rolling. I have always felt that it is a really important role in our children's lives, and art can extend into science and mathematics and almost every part of what they do in school already. So bring art in, a little self-expression, cognitive skills, and so on. I don't think you can go wrong with that. That's where it started for me, what I wanted to see happen for kids. And then we had meetings, and I tell you, surround yourself with good people and great things will happen. And that's just exactly what happened. 2014, we formed bylaws, became a 501c, and that was history, I tell you. And it's been a fun trip.
It really
because it has exploded in every direction, whether it's the concert series, whether it's the art programs for students, art programs for adults, the events that we put on. It's been great and great fun. I will add. Well, and some days you go, whoa,
what are we doing? You're up till midnight. But we started really with an event. And I think you guys have heard this story, but it was the centennial of Watford City, 2014. I had just moved back home and was kind of getting my hands and just trying to help manage what was going on with the oil boom. And we were in on a strategic plan committee and just trying to figure out what we were supposed to do here when everyone was coming to this community from all over the world, living in campers, living in tents. It was wild. And that was 2012, 11. And we got a strategic plan committee together for McKenzie County and Watford City. And Jan and I were on that committee. And long story short, because it was a big thing, I mean, we needed infrastructure, we needed housing, we needed hospital, we needed everything to house these people. It was 1,200 people to 10,000 people. But we wrote down arts and culture and had a little vision together along with a couple other community members on that committee. And we wrote our name by it. And then we were all held to where we put our name. And we just kind of took it from there because we thought, how do you keep people? Families like you two are great examples. I was coming home because I had a place, right? I had a ranch. Janice from here. You're coming to Watford for economic opportunities and you're raising your young families. At that time, we didn't know that was going to happen. It was a lot of young men, and that was the story. We wanted you to bring your families. We wanted those young men to bring their families here. And we just thought, we need something else to tell our story. We need a way to make people feel comfortable, to feel accepted, to feel kind of nurtured and celebrated. And me as a traveling musician saw that in other communities, murals and festivals. And I had done that here in our little community, singing on flatbed trailers at Rip Fest back in the olden days. So we just sort of took that on. But the first initial event before we were even a 501c3 was planning that centennial celebration. And we brought in old art and
that
music.
was called Baptized by Fire.
Yeah, it was. We did it at the old fairgrounds. It rained. We had a lineup of musicians. Huge
We had a
stage.
huge art show.
We had a big art show in the old fairgrounds, like old gymnastics. I mean, we say this as, people who've grown up here, the old fairgrounds, old gymnastics building, like that space. And then we just thought it really was well attended. It really was we brought this here and people said to us, they showed up and they said, we want this. And so coming from that point, we kept our little committee together and formed an actual board. And we just said, we said, we're just going to show up places. We're going to show up to the Heritage Park. We're going to show up to when the Rough Rider Center started doing their big events. We showed up with 1 year, like 100 big pumpkins, and we painted. It was just things you learn along the way that you'll probably never do again. But like,
right.
But you do it, and then you learn from it, and you just keep showing up. So that's what sort of got us here from 2016 when we fully incorporated, and I just kind of worked as an employee to now having a space in the visitor center and having a gallery and having major programming. So, Jan, I wrote this down. Cuckoo kangaroo was another thing. I don't know if you were parents. Do you guys do cuckoo kangaroo with your kids?
No.
Okay. They're like a little singing group. They're from Minneapolis area. Anyway, Jan funded Cuckoo Kangaroo. It was a big deal to come to Watford City to perform for the elementary school students. That was our first educational program, and they all danced in the gym.
Somehow we'll make it happen.
Yeah. And from there, we just kept going. So, So I've always seen, and this community has always seen arts and culture now, I think more than ever, as economic and development and tourism. And so they've really invested in us as a city in the county to continue our work and come alongside of us to help us tell that story. So, Brooke, I'm going to go to you. You came in a time when we had gained some traction. We had some good support. We didn't have a space, but I was working a little in tourism, trying to develop the Arts Foundation, came to the Rough Rider Center, met you, and then we wound up sharing an office and, getting to know each other and trying to do some programming in the Rough Rider Center and throughout the community. And you have a little personal passion for art then, but what endeared you to this? I mean, you just said you were new to the community. Why do you think it's so important to have programming? We come from a place of coming back home, but for you coming from a place of having just arrived and seeing this opportunity.
Yeah. When I came here, I've always had an interest in performing and visual arts. You and I hit it off. We get along so well. So I think we shared that interest. And with me coming from a bigger community, I knew that I wanted to bring more. I was so interested in getting involved into the community. I ended up working multiple jobs just because at that time I had a lot of time and a lot of energy. Then
3 children.
Yeah. So I really wanted to get involved into the community. So when you had approached me and I had gotten that opportunity, I was so excited. And so we were doing those classes, and I just wanted to really get involved. I also had moved here with another family, and I had realized that me and that mom at that time had very different experiences because I really put myself out into the community. I wanted to get involved. She didn't have that same experience. So I had seen that she was kind of missing it. Unfortunately, she then moved away back home.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I think it's just so important to make those people, we're our own melting pot, make them feel comfortable, seen, and giving them activities that they can do.
I think you hit the nail on the head right there for the vision that we had for this. We have people from all over the country here now. And we've always said that. How do you get them involved and how do you get them? You need to have a variety of things for people to do. But then I think like you having people that are representing your organization that go out and invite in. And I think that arts can really be a barrier breaker that way. When you're talking about food and you're talking about just painting a little bit or sitting next, enjoying music, that's very much a barrier breaker. And it can be very intimidating. And you both know to move into a community and not know anybody. Sure. And so now that, Rough Rider was a welcoming space, that only came up in built in 2014 or 16 or something. So around the same time as a community space, infusing art into that was such an important thing. And they really embrace that in that facility too. And you kind of have a similar experience, and maybe you can talk a little bit about that. But one of our big missions beyond, bringing people into experience arts of programming that they haven't experienced before, or just bringing big city arts experiences and music experiences to a small town. I wanted to, and we wanted to as a board, and you all do that too every day, is to make it a place that's safe and engaging and profitable potentially for area artists and musicians. And as a musician myself, I was traveling. I grew up singing here, but placing value on your local talent. I remember being at a table with people when I was young, not wanting to say I wanted to be a professional musician because it would be met with, you can't do that here. You need to go somewhere else. And I'm curious to hear what you've had feedback, Oksana, on that as an artist yourself. But what we can do here as an arts foundation is foster those relationships with artists, celebrate them, celebrate the musicians, find them some work, give them a teaching job, get them a place to show and sell. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that. What, if you agree with that, if you've had that experience, what you feel about the importance of having artists and musicians celebrated in small communities?
I think it's really important. And honestly, I was thinking about the larger communities, like the pros and cons of like being an artist in a bigger city versus a smaller one. And I think there's like a lot of pros in a smaller one because honestly, there's like a bigger support system. Like if you kind of like how I started just like posting stuff online. And I was really supported and encouraged. And it was like, there's a lot more places that you could go and be seen and meet people that you'll see again. And they'll kind of see like, how are you doing? And what are you working on now? In larger cities, I think the pros there is that you could join this group and work on this. And if you don't like it, you could find another one, like easy. There's plenty of different things. I do want to bring that here. So I kind of like different groups and stuff and different projects. But that for the smaller cities or communities is like, I think there's a lot of pros that probably people don't really realize because, you put yourself out there, people have their eyes on you, and you see other artists in your community too, and you could connect on that. Yeah. So,
it feels a little close-knit.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And Jan is the one who found you.
Yes.
And she became like an instant, I remember, now I'm just remembering. Instantly.
That's how I got to know you, Oksana.
Yes.
was through Facebook.
Yeah.
Right?
What was it? What was it that caught your eye?
Just what she put out there is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I commissioned her.
Oh,
So-
I do love those portraits that you do.
Thank you.
They're
Thank you.
stunning. Like it just captures like your little ones or the little children. It just captures like the innocence and the beauty in them. I love that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. And that's actually my most intimidating portraits. But like, I just, to capture that is like, I honestly, I still am working on it a lot, but thank you.
She's
That means
so
a lot to me.
She's very humble. But that's so true. I've experienced that myself as a musician in a small town, having traveled other places, but you become kind of the resident musician or the resident expert in X, Y, and Z. And I think that happened with Morgan, one of our other artists in town, where it's like, she does the murals. Who does the mural? Now she's here and she takes a lot of pride. Same as you all young came here to start a family and has really been able to have a good art. I hope continue her art in that way, and we can employ that, which I think is a real big win for us to be able to say that we've employed. I mean, I have statistics here. I'm not a numbers person. Can you imagine? But 20 some artists, we've given them that many opportunities in our communities.
Yeah, I definitely don't want any artists to be discouraged being in a small town, kind of what you had experienced at that time. Giving that chance with the open mics that are in town, with our art classes, different things. Come on out, be seen. Let's practice, or let's do this together. If you want to flourish, let's work together. Let's help you out to get where you want to be.
I think that collaboration and connection with other entities that are doing these sorts of things too. And I guess you segued into that really nicely. This collaboration in a small town is key. And Jan, you've seen it. You were working for the museum, you worked in tourism and economic development. You can only be successful in anywhere, I think, but specifically in small towns if you have good working relationships with your chamber, with your coffee shops, with your restaurants, with your all of the things, churches, daycares, schools, and especially specifically in the arts, I think we've really focused a lot on trying to integrate how we can advance their programming or supplement it or whatever. So Jan, talk a little bit about what we've done as an organization to foster those relationships. I'm thinking between our past and our present. So this is where I'm going with this, and I think you've seen it firsthand. We've done a lot of programming with the museum. Mm-hmm. We partnered with the Pioneer Museum as a nonprofit before we were our own nonprofit. Mm-hmm. So we got support and kind of a leg up from another nonprofit. History and arts sort of go hand in hand. And we were able to take that connection and kind of springboard from there. But we are not any longer a community of immigrants from Norway 100 years ago. We are just a vast community, people from all over the place. So we've really talked a lot about how we can use arts to make people feel connected and feel at home here. So can you talk a little bit more about that and what we've done all through the years?
Well, I guess going back just a bit, when I was director of the Pioneer Museum, and it was in this building at that time, a lot of the things that I did, of course, it was originally Scandinavian German in the area. And so there was a lot of focus on that at the time, of where we did events and such, but also we did, again, because of the arts being important to me, I brought in at Smithsonian Institute exhibits. And when you did that, it was a special program they had called Museums on Main Street. And along with that, you had to do a lot of community planning, event planning, where you involved others. So, of course, I involved students with art. I involved elderly at the Good Shepherd Home for those specific events that I helped get rolling. And so, from the beginning, I've just always found ways to thread arts into what I would do with the Pioneer. And then moving on with that, the partnership with the Long X Art Foundation just made that even grow more, So it's been going for a while. And, even going back to the influx of people, thinking about quality of life and wanting people to experience that in our community. And I feel like we've had very good success with that in many different platforms, besides the Art Foundation. So I think we're on a good roll with it all. But as far as history goes, and then the museum moved on to, the Pioneer Museum moved on to the lovely new building at the Heritage Park. And at that point, Art Foundation was able to negotiate space. And now, of course, the art gallery, the classrooms, the kiln, all the different things that we can do with that, especially. So
yeah, we had a goal of having an art gallery, which we talked about in our board meetings and as a vision. I thought that would be 10, 12 years down the road. And within 5 years, we're able to host gallery space down here every 2 months. We have a rotating exhibit from North Dakota and Eastern Montana artists. That's something I don't think a lot of people understand. And we sell things, we sell art for artists down here. And that's a huge deal to be able to sell original pieces in a small town like this and have access to, and it might not be something that you particularly love or adore, or you're going to hang in your home, but you can be down here, you can appreciate it, you can learn about what it takes to be an artist, and that's been really cool.
Well, and too, the other thing too, with the evolving of our community, that actually is really fun for me, is all the cultures and all the cultures that we get to explore now. And so part of that, we're able to, work with the high school and do the cultural fair, which
that's huge.
Is huge. And it's amazing. It is one of the more amazing community events that I think that has progressed for us. along with our smaller events that we might do here, Seth and I, with the Scandinavian or German or
the Cinco de Mayo celebration here and support that at the Rough Rider.
So there's just so many interesting things that we have learned, accomplished, right?
What I like about it is we also can, and we have a grant I should mention from the Bush Foundation and Strengthen ND that helps us do these cultural arts connections. And we can be the springboard of support to an idea like the cultural fair. That doesn't necessarily, that's not our program, but we can say we have some money, we have some support, we can bring in Native American dancers, we can bring in Filipino dancers, we can bring in programming there and help you pay for the food so that it's actually feasible. But it's the students program. And they had like 20 some different cultures represented this last year. So were you going to hop in on that?
Well, and the attendance on that cultural fair is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
The attendance, the volunteers, the people involved within that program is amazing. But even with our program, what I really love is our balance with all the cultures, all the cultures within like all the cultures and people coming into town. But also I love the acknowledgement and keeping alive the cultures that have been here, that are here, the ranching community, all of that. Like moving to this area, I was very unfamiliar with a lot of this stuff. So I want to learn about it. I want to experience that. So just kind of respecting all of those cultures and acknowledging them is really wonderful.
I think you hit the nail on the head with why it's important. I mean, we're always asking that question, probably in here, I'm asking this like 60 times, but arts and culture artists, musicians, poets, they tell our story. And I push back on the fact that we should send them out and keep them here because we have a beautiful community. We have beautiful, inspirational Badlands and landscape and people and story. And so if we don't hold those close and value our artists and musicians and storytellers, then our story gets lost. And we don't tell it in the form of public art or community spaces or activities and events. So you really said that very eloquently, I think, Brooke, like the acknowledgement and holding that space for all of this and then seeing what we can create out of this. So lovely. Okay. And you touched on the open mic nights that I wanted to talk about, like that are happening in other spaces and helping foster that talent. And so we had one at the Watford Market, which we help kind of do music for that every year with support from the city and other grants. But every once in a while, you get a new musician that sits up there and you're like, where did you come from? Can I hire you to do Watford Market? Or like even in your case, Oksana, there's a project with the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. We wanted a commission piece. And it's like, we do have like a well that we can go to of beautiful, wonderful talent that if somebody calls me, we can help create a new opportunity for them. And that's been really gratifying for me as the director, but I think for the board to be able to be like, ooh, I know where I can send you with this idea. And that's been really cool. So,
and I just want to add on that. That's like the highlight of my life so far.
Oh,
like
really?
that whole experience of drawing some like history, the first Stockman's meeting, and putting it out there and then getting it auctioned off. Like, honestly, I think I'll forever remember just the amazing feeling. I don't know. The whole process was just really good. So thank you for believing in me.
Well, yeah. And that is such a special project because you're memorializing this moment in time. The first Stockman's, well, this kind of brings in the Western history, and maybe we can talk a little bit about that when we talk about the future of what we're trying to do here too. But capture this story of the community. There is a photo, for those who weren't there or didn't know, of the first Stockman's Association meeting in North Dakota on Main Street, Watford City, right outside of what is now door 204. And they'll have a big celebration of 100 years or something or more. I can't remember, coming up. But for North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame, they wanted to memorialize that piece. And so I called Oksana and she sketched it beautifully. And I remember you saying, I can't really see their face. It's an old picture. It's almost 100 years old. but they're there standing in their cowboy gear, and you just you recreated it so beautifully. And then that helped us honor that moment in time and that moment in history on our main street. That piece will go up other places, and then auction it off for a good cause of really, with the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame, continuing to memorialize and celebrate cowboy culture and agriculture in our community. So that's like a great example of art and community building and storytelling and history all coming together in that piece that you so beautifully drew. And you sold it you raised a lot of money for that organization that day. So that was really nice. Let's continue with you, though, because you have a big job ahead of you. We've been spending a lot of time and talking about what it means to be here in the role that you are. And I always get it wrong. And programming and outreach coordinator, I'm sure I made that title, but I can't remember it. But it means a lot of things. Yes. It means being the resident artist. It means being the resident connector with other artists. It means being in classrooms, creating your own classroom. It kind of means connection and celebration of artists. What are you most excited, I guess, about diving into in your new role here?
My biggest thing, so I have a lot of ideas, but my biggest thing is I really want to bring in like different levels, advanced to beginner, from old to young. I just want everybody to experience art. I really do feel like it will bring a lot of people together, and a lot of it too, the people that don't think that they're artists, I want them to come in to enjoy it. It's not about perfection. I think creating something is just, it's in all of us. So like whether in different mediums, different styles, different things, I just really think it'll bring the community together. So my goal is to just, bring people together, hear their stories, have them learn each other's stories, and just become a stronger community.
Yeah. I think you're set up nicely to do that in your background and your passion. I know we went into the Good Shepherd home and we visited with Horizon. Just to give very specific examples of the types of programming that we do for those who don't know, it is after school arts program, getting in the nursing homes, like once a week, potentially community art classes in all mediums. We have some other team members here that do that as well. Sierra's running our kiln and our pottery program, which is wonderful. Kara runs our gallery and teaches some fiber arts classes. We've really developed a nice team. Chloe, who manages the Merc upstairs, which we could talk about a little bit more, but we also run the visitor center and the and all pros list. Let me tell you quick, because I'm going to get off topic, but I want people to know. She's a baker, a beautiful baker, and she teaches baking classes for us. I mean, we've really pulled in a lot of and Brooke is taking it on the road with some programming, which she could talk about. So there's other communities looking at us to see what we're doing, and maybe we could come, extend our wings a little bit in the future. But so the Merc, come and shop with us, because what's cool about the Merc and the opportunity to run the visitor center, which Jen, you can talk about more, is that everything we sell here goes right back into our arts programming. And we sell a lot of artists' work, makers' work, North Dakota products, and food too. So I was going to talk about that later, but I wanted to get that in. Okay. I want to talk to Brooke a little bit more about being now, in Oksana too, moms of young kids. You both have young. Are your kids kind of like the same age?
Our son is in the same, or my son is in the same preschool class as her daughter.
Yes. So you came in the community, no children. I came back home, no kids. And with the vision of, how can we build a community that is easy to and wonderful to raise children in. So talk to me a little bit about what that transition to motherhood has been like, and, community-wise, or how the arts kind of, can foster community with the kids.
We are loving the community with my small family, young children. Absolutely love it. We actually had moved here, and we said, we're going to be there probably about 7 years, and then we'll figure it out, reassess. Well, we own a home. It's been past 7 years. I just love the community. We feel so at home, so safe, so welcome. The community in the village, and my family has come here now. So we are loving it. And I love that I get the chance to bring my children wherever I can, and for them to experience these things, these celebrations, the cultural fair, the art classes. It still gets a little messy with the paint with a 2-year-old, but I'm excited on when they can keep advancing into new classes and new things and experiences.
Yeah. Well, how about you? Do you have anything to add? You know, you came from daycare setting and taking care of these kiddos, and then now you're, you know, of course, mom to your 2 young boys. What are their ages?
Arthur is going to be 6 next week, and then Theo is 3.
Do you see any interest in, I mean, people ask me that about music with my girls. Like, do you see any interest in art from your boys already?
Theo, I feel like he's a little too, like, he's still just
Little.
wild. But Arthur, I could start seeing his personality and his interests and what he's kind of like his own thing. And he has wanted to be an artist. I think that when he graduated the preschool, the ceremony, like when they asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? He was like, an artist.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, his name is perfect because Arthur, like, but yeah, and my husband chose that name, not me. So, but yeah, he expresses a lot of interest in art and he's, but I'm not forceful. He could choose whatever he wants. I'm not going to force it just because I really enjoy it. Doesn't mean he has to. But yeah, of course, I'll always encourage it. But yeah.
Well, and he has now this to look to maybe take some classes, and then we'll have connections with, and we do, with artists that are teaching more advanced classes, doing oil painting, doing clay. And these kids, we did not have that when I was growing up here.
I was going to add, because when I was growing up, I wanted to be an artist. And I was told, well, you can't be an artist. That's a hobby, not a job. Yeah. So, So, but I mean, kind of here I am. Like, I mean, I'm not like just selling all my original artwork, but I feel like I'm doing something bigger. Like, I love the community. And I still get to do what I, like my heart desires. I like to express myself. But I truly think that's debunked. I fully encourage artists to continue doing what they want to do.
I'm so glad that you kept pursuing, or at least still had it within your life. Yeah. So when, more connections were made, even in a different area, and then now you're in it.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's wild. But yeah, just keep moving forward.
I'm so glad.
And I just wanted to remind all the other artists out there listening, like, if you will fail a lot of times. And I've like, the way it started was posting on social media, and I've posted some questionable things, but just keep going. Because you never know. You never know who's watching. And so it's, just keep following that passion.
I think that's really a great, message. I had that message relayed to me, to hear someone sitting in little old Watford City and saying they can have an arts career, like, gives me goosebumps because I was told you can't do it either. And it was in a time before social media when I was becoming a musician. I was young. There was no Facebook. There was no YouTube. And it was kind of like, you go, get out of here. Everyone get out of here. And there's nothing for you here. We were a small, dying community, but pretty stagnant. And to be able to come back and to do my music here in a place that inspires me is like, I can't even believe that is real. But to hear you say that you were told you couldn't do art, it was a hobby, and then you're in our community and we've created space for you to thrive is a powerful statement. Yeah. So thanks for sharing that. And you're impacting lives every day with what you're doing and what you're going to be doing with us. So,
thank you.
And I guess I wanted to segue into that and I think ask you all if you've had experiences where you've seen people be profoundly impacted by art, either here or in other places. I have some examples I wanted to share, having done this for several years, and I'll ask you to join in if you have any on your mind too. But just little nuanced stories I think are important. But during COVID, we had started our concert series. We're really on a roll with our programming, and then it's the whole story. The world just went to a halt. Brooke did some classes in her house to just give something.
Got us through.
And then that was special because it was like, hey, we're still here. We're still creating. I had 2 little kids at home. We were making projects and we were putting some things out saying we're still here for you. I did some concerts for the nursing home that we put on TV. We did some outreach there with the nursing home to get some technology for them to interact. But one thing that we were able to do with the North Dakota Council on the Arts that I still think about, and I think we should do it again, is get some funding through their folk life program, through their Art for Life program, to have an artist come in. She was from Bismarck, and she drew and painted on their windows. And she wasn't able to go in with them, but she sat outside their window and asked them about their life and asked them about their memories, what is important to them, what they love. So cats and farm life and family and all the little stories she got from 20-some residents at the Good Shepherd home. And she sat outside in the spring, and I'm sure it was cold, and and she drew and painted on their windows and made them feel like they were important and like they weren't forgotten. That was such a profound piece, and they had those on their window, and they were able to kind of be proud of them, look out. That was something and it was new into our programming. That was like, we have something here that's really special and can make a big impact. Now, we also have a concert series that we just had, and you were there, Mexican Brass perform a few days ago to kick off our 2025-26 concert series, where the mission is to bring worldwide musicians and entertainers out of big cities and into small communities. Williston does it, Dickinson, Hazen, Crosby, these little towns. And it's hard sell sometimes, getting real, to a community that's small to say, come listen to a concert pianist for an hour and a half. Like, trust me, you're going to like this concert pianist. But we've gotten great support for it. And listen to a brass band. Like, trust me, listen to these classical singers. Trust me. And sometimes they trust me, even though, or their wife, generally. So I had an experience where we were in the beautiful high school theater, and this man, and I knew him and know him, came out with his wife, and we had a classical pianist there, and he grabbed him, because they usually come and talk afterwards, and looked him in the eye and said, I wasn't going to come here today. I didn't want to. And then he sort of started tearing up and said, you moved me. Your music moved me so much. Just thank you for this. And I'm a fly on the wall just going, this kind of like, this is why we do it.
Yeah, that gave me chills.
Yeah, it really did.
So
and so when I'm getting discouraged, which this isn't always an easy sell, it's a fun job. It's a good gig. But there are times when your big ideas that we think are going to go well, don't really go well. But as a musician, and I think as an artist yourself, or event planners, you know that if one person showed up, or one kid was inspired, or one man was moved, that's worth it for me personally. And I would say
my analogy a lot of times with my experience, even through the museum, and you do events, and I wish more would have come. However, that one person that came made it all worth it, whatever it might have been, Yeah. So my analogy always has been, I'll do it, I'll put it out there, and who we reach is who we reach, and it works. It works. It really does. So
do you all have any story, not to put you on the spot, but does that bring anything up for you, Jan, or any of you even personally being impacted by arts in your life? Doesn't have to be.
Well, the fun thing that I see, and I see it kind of over and over, where somebody will come and say to me, I mean, just the other day after we had the glass art thing, do you think that Gracie could do this for a 4-H project? Oh, yeah. I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So they were thrilled that they had this
new medium. Yeah.
Right. For actually something else. So it kind of all played in together for them. And I just kind of walked away from that. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
So, I think we are reaching through. And the other thing that I have enjoyed seeing are like the different classes that we've had over the years now. And people will come. There'll be people that know each other, people that don't know each other. Maybe one person comes kind of apprehensively because they think this looks like something I might want to do. And when they all leave, they've rubbed shoulders and they're best friends. I mean, I see you in the grocery store and it's like, hey, you know, so you're creating that community or helping create a community of people knowing each other. And I think when you can do that, there is success in what you're trying to accomplish with your quality of life and just, you know, the coming together, basically.
Yeah, and I have experienced that with either teaching the class or just taking a class or being here in the open studio, is that you can go, and sometimes I want to go and just be by myself, be quiet, focus on what I'm doing. As a young mom, especially, that's my time away. Quiet is a quiet time. But also, you'll find where people are just chatting it up, you know, just enjoying each other's space and time, community in this open studio where people are just like, oh, that looks so good. And I don't know you, but let's talk.
And you maybe didn't know each other before you sat down to the table.
Yes. Yeah. And I love what that creates. So you can come and you can be by yourself and just to yourself and then just enjoy it. Or you can like make friends and chit chat about that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that part. And I love seeing all the ceramics and little pieces that kids have created at the 4-H, you know, the show that'll come up and be like, that was from us, that came from us. So that's pretty cool.
I love it.
All right. Well, okay. This has been, I can't even tell you, we don't always all get in a room together because everyone's so busy and we're going 100 miles an hour always. And I found the more we do in this community, which is wonderful, the more we're asked to do. Just this last weekend, we were in like 3 different places. We were in the Rough Rider Center. Kara was painting beer steins and wine glasses and cups with the kids at Oktoberfest. And then we were down at the Egg Expo doing the Wild West weekend. Oksana did a sip and paint there. We had the store there. We had more artists and vendors that we've ever had in that space. And they all had a wonderful day. Thank you to the community for shopping these makers and artists. And then we're on to the next thing. We had the concert series on Tuesday. And then this weekend we have an open house for the gallery. And Oksana's working on some really cute classes. Talk about the Gilmore Girls class coming up. That's cute. I love this concept.
Yes. Well, I got the idea of, and first I wasn't sure, but I'm glad I talked to you because, well, me and my neighbor have been getting together. After I put the boys to sleep, she comes over and we watch an episode or 2 of Gilmore Girls. It's been kind of a long stretch so far. I think we're on season 4 or something.
Comfort show.
It's a comfort show. But it's been like, we started last fall and I started working and I had to get up in the morning. So we stopped doing that. And then now I'm like, I could stay up later a little bit. So I was watching and I was like, you know what? Like a lot of people like Gilmore Girls. It's comfy. It's cozy. And what if I could do something with it? So I created a sip and paint with it, and we're just going to have coffee, decaf coffee too, all the toppings, all the extra stuff, and just have Gilmore Girls playing in the background. It's going to be cozy, and I'm just so excited.
A girls' night here at the Merg and the Visitor Center, which I think is a cool concept. And people have asked me about that. So we'll watch a little show and paint and have a cozy night. So that's coming up. Okay. Talk about all the things we're doing.
I know, there's so much.
It's a little list, but that's coming up. Where are you? Soon, Gilmore Girls, October 24th. But you can find everything that we do on longxarts.com. We keep that very up to date. And then Facebook, you're doing a great job doing more Instagram posting. I know there's a lot of people there. So you can find us at the Visitor Center. You can find us everywhere. We're kind of going all over, which is how we started and how we continue to infuse art into the community and those experiences. Okay. So we're kind of wrapping up here a little bit, but I kind of want to talk about the future that you all see in your head about where we could go from here. And you all live in different spaces. Jan in particular used to run the Visitor Center and the Pioneer Museum and then saw us through to this new phase. We've only really been open as our store at the visitor center for a little bit over a year now. It seems like we've been here longer, but that's not something I saw coming, but it's been really a great way to engage the community with arts and teach them about what's going on in Watford City. You're in that capacity. Maybe you could speak to that a little bit in the future of where you want to see our mission with the Merc at Long X and how that really works with what we're doing here with the arts community.
Well, I will say Chloe is our manager at the gift shop upstairs, the Merc, as we call it, the Merc at the Long X Visitor Center.
It's long.
So it works. And she does a great job with what all that she is doing. Has created the art of making a dirty soda. So if y'all haven't had one of those.
And the best ice cream.
And the best ice cream. We do a hard ice cream. So that's all. They're busy with that. It's something that has really taken off. So
and we have a drive-through, which makes it nice.
Yeah,
too.
right. So, but it offers space. We do a lot of Pride of Dakota products. That's all North Dakota made products that we bring in and do a resale on. And of course, the artists, local artists, North Dakota artists. There's some Montana artists. And then the other neat thing, like say, it's a visitor center as well, so that we can share with people that are traveling through. The visitor or tourist, I can remember this quote. It was another tourism director that had said to me, "It doesn't matter. Every new person in your community is actually a tourist because they come and they're looking. Maybe they are the true tourist passing through, or it's somebody like Brooke or Oksana. You're the first. So your first impression of our community, we are hoping, is our visitor center and our welcome center here on the corner of Main Street. So in addition to the products, like say Pride of Dakota products, all kinds of T-shirts, sweatshirts, Wolves support, hockey support, the Oilers hockey group. We also do some special exhibits for art.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right now, upstairs, of course, there's the gallery downstairs, but upstairs we have a space where we invite artists to come in and do their displays. We've had furniture, we've had jewelry, we've had paintings of all description, photography. Right now we have brand new, a beautiful pottery exhibit. So if you are all planning, needing gifts for Christmas, we got it for you.
Come shop pottery.
Please come shop pottery because we have pottery. But it's beautiful. And this gentleman is actually lives in Minot, but does have some roots in the area, which is sort of a fun thing to think about too. So Jim Bailey out of Minot has got his exhibit of pottery down here. So yeah, it's cool.
And it's rotating all the time up there. Yep. I mean, that's a big endeavor, but you all see it. Everything that we make goes right back into these programs. That's a big one. Correct. And so we're supporting artists while their commission pieces are supporting our program too. And we make it very affordable for them and accessible for them, but always something new then to come and look at, which is nice. And the open houses around that, generally you get to meet, especially down here, the artist and interact with them, which I think is so. Okay, you've been with us for, kind of since we started doing programming. What are some of your personal goals, or what do you see? Because you said that in the beginning, you wanted to be there. You had great ideas. You wanted to be there for it. Where do you see us going in the next 5-10 years?
I think we're just going to keep expanding. Right now, I'm not as hands-on. I love coming down and reaching out to you, catching up with what you guys are doing. Because honestly, you guys have just so much going on, even in like a week, 2-3 weeks time. is so many different events. Even you were saying on Saturday, there was 2 different art classes. Well, Monday, then there was another art class.
There was, that's right. I forgot. You were there.
Yeah. And then Tuesday was the concert. So much happens in such a short amount of time here because we have an amazing team of people, which I'm so grateful for. So I'm here for whatever you guys need. I'm your biggest cheerleaders. Tell me, I'll be there. I want to support you guys as much as possible because your view, especially with you, Jessie, and you, Jan, your view is so large for the future. And it might take time to get there, but then something can fall into your lap. Like this location just kind of fell. And then it worked so well. But you had kind of viewed and seen that space for the future anyway. So I just want you guys to keep going. I love that, what we do. And I'm so proud to be a part of this program. Like, I'm just so proud of everyone involved. It's not me by any means. So,
well, we need champions and cheerleaders 100% to help us tell our story and to help us see what we're maybe missing or what an opportunity that might fall in our lap. So we appreciate you and all the volunteers that show up and take the tickets and say, we should do this. You could do this better. Or let's look over here because it's everybody's organization. So what about you? You have you're fresh in this job, but we've talked a lot about what you want to do, but where do you see this going for you, or what are your big goals for your new role?
My big goals is kind of to piggyback off of Brooke, just keep expanding and in a way bringing more artists to teach a class, or I would really like to reach out and bring them here because I know it was life-changing for me. So bringing them here, have them teach a class, get connected with the community, or just I guess I don't know, everything, just that and everything.
Oksana has we have a lot of fun chats because we're planning for the fall and planning for what our next programming is, but it's really fun to be in a room with everyone who's so energized and saying I have this idea and this. I do think we can do this, and I'm yes, let's figure it out. That's the best part of my job is the connection from artist to opportunity to we need a musician here to the musician that I know. And I've seen that happen, which I think is really our job, is to make those connections and get those artists in here to be part of the community. So I appreciate the enthusiasm and all of that. So that being said, is there anything I missed? Do we have anything else you want to talk about?
Great chat.
Yeah, fun chat.
And I guess, when you talk about visions for the future, it's continually learning and expecting the growth and basically answering the call.
Yeah. I think that's where we started is answering the call, and hopefully we can keep our minds open enough to pivot when we need to pivot, to learn and listen to what the community wants.
Right.
And that's a big one. And always going back to our mission, which is just creating arts and cultural opportunities in this rural area. I can see it personally. We've had some interest from other communities. Maybe there's more of a regional reach that we have. We do help foster some arts programming in the Killdeer community through their nursing home, and we can stay connected with what they're doing in Williston and Dickinson and our arts community. Hopefully they feel the same way, but it's not a competition. It's a collaboration. They have a really wonderful music intensive program that's going on in Williston for musical artists to learn from Alma Cook, which we're always promoting. And that sort of thing, paying attention to what other communities are doing too in our region, because at one point it felt like this was the wasteland. I hate to say it, but for artists, I felt like we just weren't there yet. And we had beautiful things happening here, but we needed to make sure we're telling their story. And I think that our surrounding communities are doing a really good job of that as well. And we're just trying to keep up and keep doing it. So with that, I think we could dream big. We've always dreamed, like Brooke said, kind of up and out. I'd love to see a co-working space for artists That has been something Kara and I and you and I have been talking about, where you can come in and work alongside of other artists and have a space. Some of our community members are in apartments or they're in trailers or smaller spaces. And sometimes, like you said, you just need to get away from the kids or the chaos. So I see that sort of on board in the next few years. But we just have so much support from the community. And so that's kind of where I wanted to land. We cannot do this as a nonprofit without support from the community. And that looks like individuals, and we've had great support from individuals, community members, business owners, other nonprofit organizations, and specifically our city and our county. They have been, not every community gets that. Not every community sees arts and culture as a part of the fabric of what they're doing. They don't see it that way. We do, and that's important, and that is life-changing for a lot of people. So they've supported us through this endeavor, and we get to sit at the table with community leaders, and they ask us what we think as arts partnership, and that's a big deal. And so I just wanted to say thank you to our community for the support, so we can continue to sort of change lives here. And then also, if you want to support us, because that's part of my job, please, you can become a member in all sorts of levels. Starting at $50, you get access to the community concert series, and then you get a discount on classes here, which is really fun. But we have all sorts of levels of giving. You can find that at longxarts.com. Another thing I didn't mention, now that I said community, it reminded me, we've helped support and foster the community theater. So if you're interested, I never brought that up, but I think I should before we go. The community theater was one of the programs that came to us for some kind of support to get started. They are started, and they are looking for people to come and do theater with them, either behind the stage or in front of the stage or whatever. And they've been doing a really great job. They have a production coming up in the fall, I think November, but they have a website, McKenzie County Community Theater. Look that up. We're linked out to them as well on our website. So if you're into theater, we're doing that too. And that's led by Travis Barnes, the theater director at the school. So thank you, ladies, for coming and sharing your story and being such a big part of this incredible organization. We have a good gig, I think. So.
I think so too.
All right. Well, find us on longxarts.com and come see us down at the Visitor Center. Thanks for chatting today.
Thank you.